In this video, I'm going to show you a new tool called AI Arc, a significantly cheaper alternative to the likes of Apollo.io and Lusha, and B2B data provider is already being used by some of the biggest clay agencies in the space, be it Stack Optimize or Understory, and that's not to mention that a bunch of the biggest clay thought leaders like Taylor Heron, who sends thousands and millions of emails on a monthly basis, has switched to using AI Arc over the conventional data providers. And no, I'm not just going to stand here and compliment AI Arc for the next 10 minutes throughout this video, but rather I'm going to walk you through their standout features, how AI Arc actually works, and how it stacks up against some of the bigger competitors in the space, such as Apollo, Lusha, ZoomInfo, and the likes of Prospio, which, as you know, I use on a daily basis. To start off with, though, let's talk about what AI Arc actually is, and simply put, it's a B2B data provider that has over 500 million people and over 70 million companies in their database, and it's sourced from all sorts of platforms ranging from LinkedIn and Crunchbase and so on. And their main unique selling point is that their database is refreshed every 30 days, meaning that any outdated LinkedIn profiles are removed, any job changes can be monitored on a 30-day basis, and even tiny little things like funding news will be updated inside of the database on a monthly rolling basis as well. As you could tell by the title of this video, the biggest unique selling point of AI Arc, in my opinion, is their pricing. It works out to be 4 to 5 times cheaper than Apollo.io and Lusha, and I imagine about 20 to 30 times cheaper than the bigger legacy data providers like your ZoomInfos and your Cognisms. To be honest, I'm always skeptical of new data providers pitching me how good their data is. So as you can see over here, I got plenty of AI Arc credits, which I've put to good use over the last couple of months. In case if you're wondering, you can see over here some of the most common features that you can access inside of AI Arc. So for example, you have your company lookalikes, your people lookalikes that are launching soon, and you have your typical company searches, people searches, your ability to build lead lists. You can just head over to the enrichment tab over here and just basically enrich any sort of lead list with missing websites, LinkedIn profiles, or whatever it is. However, what I want to focus on right now is some of the standout features and specifically very niche, tiny little filters that I have been using over the last few months to run the campaigns over and B2B Boosted on behalf of my clients. So the first filter that I want to show you, which is quite niche, is if you head over into the job role under the people tab, over here you are able to filter not only for the current job title of an individual, but also their previous job titles. So for example, if their current role is a founder, and we want to make sure that we're only reaching out to founders with a marketing background, in that case, I can just click into previous job over here and just make sure that it includes marketing. And that way, in our outreach, we can make it way more personalized and we can segment the lists a lot better, knowing that in this case, we're only going after a list of founders with a marketing background. Now, the second niche filter that I found really useful on a recent campaign has been the keywords filter. So over here, if you head over into the keyword section, on a person level, we're able to type in any keywords that are featured on a person's LinkedIn profile, and I can just type it into the include filters. And if I then just tick the certificates only box, in that case, I will be left with a list of prospects that I know right now have Prince 2 mentioned in their headline, and more than that, they also have a Prince 2 certificate, meaning that the chances are they have the right level of qualifications. For instance, maybe if I'm a recruiter that wants to place project managers with this specific qualification in the first place. Filter number 3 that I find quite useful inside here to run micro campaigns is the language skills filter. So in that case, if we click on language skills, we can then click on expand over here and we can select the exact language that the prospect speaks. So in this case, for instance, if I'm a Russian speaker, I can then reach out to prospects in Russian, and assuming that they speak Russian as well, that could be quite nice if I reached out to them in Russian and they work, let's say, in the UK market, because that definitely breaks through the noise. And maybe it will increase the chances of the prospect replying simply because you'd like to help someone who shares a background with you. Filter number 4 that I found quite useful with AI Arc has been the current and past company filter. So this enables you to filter for anyone that works for a specific company or anyone who has worked in a specific company in the past. This is especially useful if, let's say, for whatever reason, we're going after the ex-employees of Tesla. In this case, you can just type in Tesla over here and that way we can call them out in the first email of the sequence. Hey, I noticed you used to work at Tesla, and now you work as a project manager at Y company, right? Just as a quick example. On to filter number 5 that I found quite cool inside of AI Arc. We're now going to talk about the profile badge filter. So in this case, if I click on profile badge, I can select which kind of contacts I want to reach out to. So obviously, if I reach out to people with a LinkedIn premium account, chances are they're already paying for LinkedIn. They'll be active on LinkedIn. So I'll have better chances of reaching out to them using a tool like HeyReach, for instance. Or if I want to reach out to people who are open to work, in that case, they may be a lot more responsive to any sort of job opportunities that come their way. Or again, if I want to segment my market and reach out to influencers, to tick the box for influencers or creators. Or alternatively, if I just want to reach out to anyone that's offering a job who is hiring within their company, I can just select the hiring profile badge, which again, I know there are a lot of use cases for this specifically for recruiters. So definitely worth using this filter to your advantage. And one other thing to note, you can also exclude some people from your outreach. So in this case, you can see that over 26 million people are open to work on LinkedIn. So in that case, we probably don't want to be reaching out to them because chances are they don't care about their role as much, rather they're thinking about their next career opportunity. Of course, there are a bunch of other filters that I'm not going to jump into, but some other ones that may stand out to others could be the number of locations worldwide. So in that case, obviously you can reach out to companies that have multiple locations like Walmart. You can segment through to some companies that only have one location, in which case, of course, these will be smaller businesses. You can also filter for the operational language. So if you want to see a company that has a website in Spanish, you can filter through to that. You can filter based on funding. They're working on the technologies edition as well. So you should be able to filter based on certain technologies used within those companies. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, I've used them before for job changes. So in that case, you can look for people that have had a recent job change. So some other standout features could be their HTTP API integration inside of clay.com. And very soon they should have a button inside of AI Arc that enables you to export all of the data in one click directly into a Clay table using just one Clay webhook. So that should be pretty cool. But in the meantime, you can see a bunch of their API endpoints. So their API enables you to search for companies, to search for people, to do a reverse person lookup, whereby say you have an email address or a LinkedIn profile, you can find their full name. It can enable you to find mobile numbers, even do some funky stuff like pull off a personality analysis based on a person's LinkedIn profile. And that's basically that. And of course, given the fact that a lot of the bigger Clay agencies out there are already using AI Arc, chances are there will be a native integration coming out within the next couple of months, I assume, between Clay and AI Arc. So that should be just a matter of time. And more than that, the email finder API should be going public very soon as well. But in the meantime, you could still log into AI Arc and find the email addresses of all of the prospects. Having played around with AI Arc for a while now, worth noting that the best use cases for AI Arc are for anyone that's reaching out to audiences that have a big online presence or that hang out on LinkedIn. So in other words, if you're going after any sort of B2B corporates that typically could be found on tools like LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Apollo, chances are AI Arc will find you the exact same contacts, but for a fraction of the price. However, if you are going after brick and mortar Google Maps kind of leads who typically do not have an online presence as such on platforms like LinkedIn, chances are AI Arc may not be the best fit for you. All right, guys, it's a random Sunday afternoon. So as you can probably guess, I'm now editing this video. And as I go through editing this video, I realized that I forgot to mention that there is a 5% discount for anyone that clicks the top link in the description underneath the video. If you want to take me up on that, feel free to click the top link in the description down below. More than that, you may have noticed that this video is on a new channel. And the reason for that is because on my main YouTube channel, I'm going to be publishing the kind of content which is highly edited and a lot more thought through. And that will mean that I'm not going to be publishing on a daily schedule or 2 or 3 times a week like I used to, but rather I'm going to prioritize the quality over quantity. This means that I want to make the most of this new channel that I've just created in order to just continue giving you these kind of like raw tutorials, which I edit myself on weekends like this one. So if you do want to see more tutorials of similar sales tools, by all means, just consider subscribing, consider liking this video. My goal is just to get probably the same amount of subscribers in this channel as there are another one by the end of this year. So I'd really appreciate if you tune in. And if you enjoyed this video, just make sure to drop it a like. Anyways, appreciate you checking this out. Go check out AI Arc. I honestly think they're great. I just messaged Penn Frank from Stack Optimize, and he was like, yeah, it's a killer tool. Like, absolutely everyone should be using it. So here you go. What better testimonial than that? Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. If you have any future video tutorials or requests that I should be making, maybe on concepts like MPC or Claude Code or something like that, so just drop them down below and I'll put them on my to film list going forward. Have a good one in the meantime. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.